Yes, sir. I tell you, that music never gets old. It feels like I'm in Game of Thrones or something, and it's just, boom. Oh man, House Furman, Terrell of House Furman, first of his name, conqueror of the books, defeater of DFS, all of that in the world. You know me, know the voice, know the guy. It's me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. And I'm here with somebody new to me, maybe old to you, new to me, old to you, but it is a pleasure. We're here to talk about some MLB DFS on the Fantasy Fire and Ice. I have Chris Torres, aka at Torres Takes. Make sure y'all give him a follow. Chris, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Terrell? Man, yeah, that music, that is official, man. I love it. And
Yeah,
I gotta step up my game just the way you describe yourself. Like I love that intro you give yourself. So I gotta figure out a better intro for me. But yeah, I'm at Torres Takes. Full name is Chris Torres. I'm happy to be here. Super excited to be part of the Sportstopia family and ready to get started here. Let's get into this slate.
yeah, absolutely. And a big slate it is, but I want to rewind for a second and talk about yesterday's slate because yesterday was a Monday. It was the holiday. Monday overs have been insane over the course of the season, and yesterday was not any shadow of a doubt. And so when I look at the slate yesterday, I see 20 runs up there. I see 12 runs up there. I see games that have well into double digit runs on Monday. But now I look to today and I see a lot of starting pitching on the mound with some low ERAs. Like I'm talking below 4, you got below 3. It's a couple of aces on the mound today. So what are you looking at in MLB hitters today? And what seems like is going to be more of a pitching over offense than offense over pitching type of day.
Yeah, excuse me. So I'm looking at, I mean, the top option on the main slate is Garrett Cole, right? He's 12K on DraftKings. He is the most obvious pick. I think he's going to go. The optimizer saying he's going to be around 50% ownership. I'm going to take
Mhm.
the over on that. I think everybody is going to gravitate to Garrett Cole because he is the top option there. Um, I do see some low over unders, but when we're talking DFS, I mean, we're looking for pitchers that are going to give us a lot of strikeouts, right? That's like first
Mhm.
and foremost. And I feel like I'm not seeing a ton of that. Like to me, again, Garrett Cole stands out clearly as the top option. You've got Nathan Eovaldi coming back from injury. We don't know what his pitch count is going to look like. He's got a tough matchup against the Astros. He's the second priciest option on the slate. I'm probably not going there.
Mhm.
You got Framber Valdez, who also is above 10K, but he's been a little up and down lately. So like those top options, the top three pitchers on the slate, I think Garrett Cole stands out clearly above everybody else.
And but are you willing to take the chance on Cole? I don't understand how at this point I could take a chance on anybody on the Yankees in any given night. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be an on night or off night for them. It's just been such a bad season for the team entirely that it's actually kind of struggled its way into my MLB DFS handicap. Is that I don't want anything to do with this team.
Well, with DFS, man, I mean, listen, I got the Yankee hat on. Maybe there's a little bit of bias, but no, I'm actually like, I'm actually harder on the Yankees than I am on other teams. So it isn't that.
Mhm.
I really am in on them tonight. I think they're trending in the right direction. And listen, I understand that like DFS, we're looking at like numbers and stats, but let's put a little bit of the subjective element, right? Some of the feel. And the Yankees right now with these new young players that have come up recently,
Mhm.
I think it's injecting some life into this team, right? I mean, they go out and they sweep their nemesis, the Houston Astros, this past weekend, which is like in Houston, which is like I never in a million years would have believed that. So they've got some good
Mhm.
mojo right now, and I think Cole is set up perfectly here against the Tigers. I mean, we got to look at this opponent. The Tigers are bottom 5 in the league against right-handed pitching.
Mhm.
Recently, they're not hitting well, so I think Cole is just perfectly set up here. And let's talk about the bats for a second too. I think they may go a little overlooked on this slate. I'm really loving Jason Dominguez, he's probably
Mm-hmm.
going to hit. This is the first game at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be a big deal. Everybody's been waiting for this young kid to come up. They're probably going to put him in the middle of the order. And I mean, his stats lately have been off the charts. He's got a 63% hard hit percentage since he's come up to the
Mm-hmm.
major leagues. He's making good contact. And he's only 3K on DraftKings. So I think he's going to be pretty popular. But listen, I'm cool going a full Yankee stack here. Judge is priced up, obviously, at
Okay.
6.7K. But I think you could fit him in. I actually did run a lineup where I could fit in Cole, a Yankee stack, and we'll get to another stack that I'm in on that I could, include in that lineup. But I think Dominguez, Gleyber Torres has been hitting the ball really well. Uh, Judge is, Judge is Judge. Uh,
Yeah.
there's not much else to say there. DJ LeMahieu is a cheaper leadoff option he's starting to turn things around. So I really like the Yankees coming into today. I'm totally disregarding the past 4 months and just focusing on the now. And I think they're
Mhm.
trending in the right direction.
All right, going back to the pitching conversation and just throwing out one pitcher that I was looking at today, and it's my weekly fade of the Oakland A's. How do we not get behind Chris Bassett in this spot here of Toronto chasing whatever they're chasing at this point? Like, they could be chasing Ghost and trying to make sure that, they get this wild card over the likes of the Rangers, or I believe the Astros are in that wild card race as well. And then you have the A's who are literally at the bottom, absolutely at the bottom. They're trying to figure out where they're even going to play baseball, in the upcoming years. So how do we not get behind a Chris Bassett here, where the optimizer says that, hey, he should be a pretty popular option, and just fading this A's group that hasn't been good all year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. I understand why people are going to go there. Optimizer has them right now for a 20% projected ownership. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe a little higher because everybody wants to go against the A's. The one caveat I will say, and I'm very into the more we work together, Terrell. You'll see like I look at recent trends and I maybe put
Mm-hmm.
more weight on those trends more than most. And just looking at the A's, I mean, we think of them as one of the worst offenses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But lately they've been trending up. And over the past few weeks here, I have them as kind of middle of the road, 14th best WRC plus over the past 2 weeks here, 24% strikeout rate, which is a little above average. So my point is that I don't think the A's are quite as bad right now as maybe people perceive them to be. Chris Bassett, I will say he's going back to Oakland, which he loved pitching there,
Yeah.
so that's
Revenge game.
working in his favor. I'm
Revenge
sorry,
game. I love the revenge game
a
narrative.
revenge game, yeah, for sure. So we got to take that narrative into account. But the other thing with Bassett, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, is he's priced up. He's 9.7K,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not like on DraftKings 9.7K. So it's not like you're getting a discount here on Bassett. So I could see it. If I'm making multiple lineups, I'll definitely have exposure, but I think I'll be underweight the field, honestly, because I do think he's going to be pretty popular, and he's not a huge strikeout guy either. Remember what I
Mm-hmm.
said in DFS? We're looking for strikeout pitchers. He can give you those games, but it's not like he's a rock solid, like a guy that you could depend on a 25% K rate from.
Yeah, at this point, it's live for the sword, live with the sword, die by the sword for me. And I am all about a good narrative. I'm all about a good narrative. And it just feels like this is the moment. You're in a wild card chase. You're what, a half game back of the Rangers of the wild card or something
Mhm.
like that. You honestly should have locked this up a while ago, but you guys were playing with your food then. And now Chris Bassett starting against his own team. Oh, come on. You tell him, if I was a betting man, and I am, I would take the
You are.
I very much am. I would take the all
Mhm.
over on his strikeouts tonight. Just saying he's petty. Just saying he's petty. Just saying he's
Okay.
gonna be
All
petty
right.
today. And I think the optimizer agrees with me. And why we're paying the heavy price for him today, because hey, maybe that narrative does he reaches into some type of bag he's got who nobody knows. Maybe the
Mhm.
baseball gods come down like angels in the outfield and give him the ultimate pitch there to be able to strike everybody out. But great movie, by the way, Angels in the Outfield. I just pulled that off top of my
Love
head.
it. Love
Yeah,
it.
I haven't seen that in a long time. All right.
What's better? I'm assuming you've seen Rookie of the Year,
No,
right? The one with the kid on the Cubs, right? No,
I haven't seen a lot of movies.
you haven't. Oh man. Okay, so that's on your list after the
Okay.
show. I need you to go watch Rookie of the
All
Year
right.
and compare it to Angels in the Outfield. But
Okay.
anyway,
All right. I'm gonna do that. It's a lot of people that are just like, how did you not see that? I'm like, come on, guys. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a lot of movies. You lucky you got Angels in the Outfield from me. All right. Let's move on to the hitters around the league and who's going to be having a great day today. And so, my general philosophy with hitting is just fade the Mets. And whoever is hitting against the Mets, just assume that they're going to go for the cycle. Every single person. That's my general philosophy. And just that, just fade the Mets. The Mets are terrible. As a Mets fan, fade the Mets. But today, the Mets get Patrick Corbin on the mound, who has flashed over the course of this season, and he has reverted back to that Patrick Corbin that won a World Series. This guy's still a fade for me, and I think that this is a matchup that I remember the Mets having a little bit of an advantage in the past. Are you looking at anything in this game or anywhere else in terms of who are the top hitters going to be, or maybe some value hitters?
hmm yeah, I mean Patrick Corbin, he's been a punching bag for DFS players forever, right? I mean it's hard not to. Here's the other thing. We didn't mention the
Mhm.
weather. It's going to be 90 plus degrees in Washington today.
Don't remind me.
So it oh, is that okay? So you're down in that
A
area.
little
So
further
yeah.
south, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's hot up here in New York too. So I definitely am with you on that. Not a fan, but yeah, I think that definitely Pete Alonso is someone you got to look at. He's going to be very popular,
Mhm.
I'm sure, just against. He has like a plus 700 slugging percentage against Patrick Corbin in his career. If you're into batter pitcher
The
splits, so
the
I think
metrics.
he's going to be
Mhm.
popular. The optimizer has him for a 16% ownership percentage. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of people are going to gravitate towards that. The Mets stack is going to be very popular. Ronnie Mauricio is very cheap.
Mhm.
The Mets young prospect who just came up. He hit a ball the other day, 117 miles per hour, so we know the pop is there.
Mhm.
He's 3K on DraftKings. You could slot him in, I believe, at second or short. So yeah, people are gonna be in on him. I like Francisco Alvarez too at 3,500,
Yeah.
facing a lefty and Patrick Corbin in that ballpark. I feel like he's kind of like an auto play at 3,500. He's been hitting the ball well too.
And that's a cheap
So yeah,
option. That's a
definitely.
cheap
Yeah, that
option. In
he's just
case you
cheap.
went
I don't
the
understand that.
in case you went the Garrett, Garrett and Bassett stack, something like that,
hmm
that ate up a whole bunch of salary, being able to get a catcher that in Francisco Alvarez, who can be very good for $3,500 against Patrick Corbin, it feels like a really, really good move for me.
Yeah, I mean that's a guy. You're not going to bet on this, but like he could pop 2 home runs, and you wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised at all. Last 2 weeks, 41% hard hit percentage for Alvarez. He's pulling the ball, which we like to see for home run potential. He's making decent enough contact that I mean we know the power's legit. If he gets into one, like there's a good chance it's going to go. So yeah, I like Alvarez a lot. But as far as other teams that I'm looking at, I really like the Diamondbacks today against Kyle Freeland.
Hmm.
Kyle Freeland stinks. I mean let's be let's be honest here. He is and he's been Like, I don't know. The Rockies are just such a terrible organization. They keep running a guy like that out there.
Yeah, so that's what I was literally just about to say is that, man, I want to know who his agent is. I want to sign with him because how does he
Yeah.
still have a job? All these people getting called, waived and everything, and guys like Kyle Freeman still not caring.
Yeah, I don't know. The Rockies, like, I swear, like, they just, it's like they have these guys who just don't understand the modern game. Like, they have no analytics department. There's no direction for that organization. But anyway, getting back to Kyle Freeland, he's been getting crushed by righties this season with a 41% hard hit rate. He's allowing over 2 home runs per 9 against them, a 5.41 xFIP against righties. And here's the thing. The Diamondbacks can get very right-handed heavy. They could put 8 righties out there. The only lefty that they would have in the lineup, in their projected lineup, is Corbin Carroll, who's not so bad himself. So I think
Best car salesman ever.
Yeah.
Best car. Hey, that doesn't sound like a car salesman. Corbin Carroll. Carroll down that Chevy Auto Course. Yeah, he's a car salesman. Best car salesman ever. Love Corbin Carroll.
Yeah. So I think this is a smash spot for the whole team. You've got Evan Longoria, who they're probably going to put in there in the middle of the lineup. He's projected to hit 5th, 2.9K on DraftKings. I think he's a great value. And then I'm going to stack him with Tommy Pham, Christian Walker. Even if you want to get real ugly and nasty, you could go with Nick Ahmed at shortstop. And I know it's Nick Ahmed, but he's 2.3K. So if you want to punt shortstop and get a piece of that stack, I think he's in play. Gabriel Moreno's 2,700. He's a catcher. So you could put him in the stack there. So I think there's a lot of good options for the Diamondbacks at home against a terrible pitcher. And another thing that I think we overlook sometimes in DFS is bullpens. Rockies have the worst bullpen over the past 30 days in the league. Okay. So you're going to get a bad pitcher, a bad bullpen. I think they could absolutely explode today.
I can't go against anything you said because one of the first lineups that the optimizer pulled out, and make sure you do tap into our optimizer with the QR code at the top of the screen that's not it. That's reverse that way. And so make sure you tap in with the optimizer. You can get that VIP promo for a lifetime access to the optimizer and a whole bunch of things that you can see at the bottom of the screen. And so number one stack that it had was in this Diamondbacks and Colorado game. And they did have Nick Ahmed as slotted there in the shortstop position, like you talked about, very cheap, $2,300, but a game that we're expecting to see some fireworks. And even though it's not the highest total on the board, I've always told people that you kind of got to watch these lines. And the number for this, while the total did not move, you're getting juice towards that over in this game. So teams are expecting, people are expecting, they're betting the over in this game. So you could expect to see some fireworks, and that's what you want in DFS. You want opportunity for runs scored, opportunity for fantasy points scored. So yeah, I'm 100% with you in this Colorado game and back in the D-backs here. The next game I want to talk about really quickly because the optimizer always runs the Braves back. And how do you not do it looking at this offense and what they've been able to do over the course of the season? It seems like it doesn't matter who gets in their way. They still find ways to manufacture runs. So while it may not be the most contrarian play today, are you still looking to back the Braves here in this slate going up against the Cardinals that it looks like Mickey Mouse Gallus?
Oh, man, there would be nothing more that I want to do than stack against Miles Michaelis and his big dumb mustache. I don't know what it is. Like, just his picture angers
Mickey
me.
Mouse, man.
Maybe it's because,
he's like he's the old Mickey Mouse last year. He's the old Mickey Mouse guy that you get for your kid's birthday party. That's really like some kind of drunk guy that's been on. Yeah, this creepy drunk guy, and he just shows up.
Yeah,
and he starts cussing at the kids. Yeah. Like, that's who he is. That's literally his character.
Yeah, no, there's something about him that really bothers me. And, maybe it was last year. I didn't have him anywhere. I totally faded him. And he had this remarkable year out of nowhere. It just, I don't know, pissed me off. But yeah, I mean, he kind of is showing who we thought he was, right? I mean,
Yep.
he's been much worse this year. I would love to stack against him. He's going to be on the road in Atlanta in a great hitters park. We know how
Hmm.
good that offense is. The only thing, man, is that these bats are priced up, right? I mean, Matt Olson, all these guys are just like Matt Olson 6,400,
Hmm.
Riley 5,800, Acuna 68. So like my question is, how do you get these bats in there and still have decent pitching? Like I don't see any real cheap options at pitcher that
Hmm.
allows you to get those bats in there. For that reason, I'm sure they're going to go pretty low owned. So that's a kind of lineup construction thing to think about. If there's someone you like, kind of at the bottom end of the pitching scale,
Hmm.
then and you could fit them in, then it's going to give you leverage over the field. But for me, I just don't see anything that allows me to get to them.
All right.
But they're obviously a great play.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. And I mean, do you go with a guy like Soroka saying that at home he's able to get going? I don't know. He's been pretty brutal this year, and I'm not sure if I want to back him, but that does lead me to what may be a better priced option and maybe some of these St. Louis Cardinals bats and getting behind them with
Mhm.
Soroka on the mound. And you look at what they've been doing over the past few games. Look at that last series against the Pirates. They scored 6 runs twice in that series. And if you look at what they're doing in their past few games here, 6 runs, 6 runs, 2 runs, 5 runs in there, 6 runs. Like they're putting up runs and they're hitting a lot better very recently, probably because the season's over and you're just like, hey, we might as well go out swinging. But is there anybody in this St. Louis that's hitting for St. Louis that you could say that you want to back here today and just kind of like a anti-Brave stack? This is going to be a high scoring game on both sides.
I'll be honest, Terrell. I'm not really looking at the Cardinals today. I just there are other stacks I like better. I like the Diamondbacks, like I said. I like the Yankees. And the thing with Soroka, I know he hasn't been that good this year, but he doesn't really give up many home runs. And in DFS,
Hmm.
that's what it's like with pitchers. I want strikeouts. With hitters, I want home runs. And
Hmm.
Soroka is more of a ground ball guy, limits hard contact. He's at home, so I'm probably not gonna go against him. I just again see other options I do like better. One guy to consider though, if you want, if you are going to stack, is I mean, it's pretty obvious. You want the leadoff hitter of your stack, and it's Lars Nootbaar. I just want to point out his
Okay.
numbers over the past few weeks have been really good. He has a 56% hard hit rate over the past
Hmm.
2 weeks. Again, small sample, but we like where his skills are trending. He has a 93.5% contact percentage, which is like beyond elite. Like there's no one. I think it's probably number one in baseball over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
So he's making contact. He's hitting the ball hard. He has a 44% fly ball percentage, so he's hitting the ball in the air. I think he's someone. If you're looking for, if anybody's going to hit a home run in this game, I think it could be Lars Nootbaar. Again, those
Hmm.
skills are trending in the right direction.
I think I'm gonna get behind some of these Cardinals players, man. I
Yeah. Okay.
and I have Wilson Contreras, 4,000. The optimizer agreed with me as well, and he last 7 days he's hitting 33. He's hitting 333 over the last 7 days, so he's hitting pretty well, very consistent, and that's somebody that we've been backing recently. Goldsmith is going to be priced, and so if you want to go like a Cardinal stack with me and $5,300 for Goldsmith, I would take that as well. Not maybe nothing serious, but I think that what the Braves do is they force everybody else to be so good. And that's where I've had fun
Mm.
taking a couple players on that other side of Braves because they force them. It's either you put up runs or you're walking out 12 nothing and you're losing. So it's like, all
Mhm.
right, they're going to hit. So we've got to hit too. And that's your mentality going into the park. And I love that level of competition. So I'm going to back a couple of Cardinals today. I'll probably have them in my main lineup that I do have going. And Contreras and Goldsmith are the top two that I'm looking at, especially Contreras, who is a little bit better of a priced option at 4,000 on DraftKings.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get ready to close things out here. But I just want to go to you for one value pick, one pick where you're saying, hey, everybody may not be playing this person, or this person may not have all the eyes that everybody thinks they does, but this is a good play for tonight.
I mean, I already gave you Dominguez. Like he's just an absolute smash at 3K. One guy
Mm-hmm,
who I think might go overlooked, um, who's been really trending in the right direction. And sometimes I think when we face the Giants, we don't know what the hell to do because like they mix and match with
mm-hmm,
their pitchers, and it's hard to like. I don't know. I think people just avoid hitters against the Giants sometimes because they don't know how to handicap the situation, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, but I think someone we could be looking at who's really been hot is Seiya Suzuki. And he's, I think, if you could pull up Terrell, I think he's 3,500 if I'm not mistaken.
Let
Um,
me look.
I remember he was like relatively cheap. And I mean, he is really like the underlying skills. I'm all about like looking at the things like hard hit percentage, contact percentage, and everything is trending in the right direction for him. He's got, let's see, how many home runs here? Come on, computer. Okay, so over the past 2 weeks, got a couple bombs,
Mm-hmm,
14% barrel rate, 85% contact rate, which is well above average. He's hitting the ball in the air. What I also look for too is good swing decisions. And when
mm-hmm.
he's getting a pitch to drive, he's taking advantage with a 70% zone swing percentage. So I think he's someone that could go overlooked. He might be like a guy throw in as a one-off because of that. Did you pull up his price?
He is 3,500. You were right.
3,500. So I think there's a good chance at a home run for him. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sean Manaea is going to be coming in as like the bulk pitcher for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a lefty going up against Suzuki. I think he's too cheap for the potential that he provides. But real quick, Terrell, if I could give you my lineup, and I did
Yeah.
want to mention one pitcher who I think is a decent value option is Brandon Pfaadt. His skills are trending
Mm-hmm,
in the right direction. 6,900 at home. And the most important thing is the competition. The Rockies, they're just bad all around. Their hitting is the worst in the league over the past couple of weeks. I think he's a good option. Um, I love that Diamondback stack, Moreno, Christian Walker,
mm-hmm,
Tommy Pham, yeah, even Nick Ahmed. And then with the Yankees, I mentioned Gleyber Torres, Aaron Judge, Jason Dominguez. So those are going to be the core pieces of my lineup, and then I'm going to kind of build around that using the optimizer. So
mm-hmm.
that's what I'm looking at today.
All right, I'm gonna just throw out one name. Mark Vientos, Mets, $2,500. He's
Mm,
hitting 500 in the past
love
week,
it.
and in the past 15 days, 304. This has been Fantasy Fire and Ice, brought to you by Sportstopia. I am Terrell from Junior. He's Chris Torres. Make sure you get the Fantasy Optimizer, and we are out of here.